It's time for another showdown in the knife show. This time, CRKT versus cold steel. Between these two, the CRKT Burnley designed Obaki, boom, and the entire cold steel Spike series. Which one would you choose, Nutnfancy, if you were to buy one? That's what this video is about. And I'll do my best to answer it. First, an admission of sorts, okay? And knife guys know this about me. You can teach an old dog new tricks. We'll get to that. But I don't generally like what could broadly be called neck knives. I don't ever wear them. I shouldn't say that. In the past, I did not wear them. Now, let's jump into philosophy of use. When would you use these knives? Where do they make sense? And this is kind of where I've learned, like I said, a new trick. Here's one out of package right there. There are times when a neck knife does make sense. And I don't know how you guys employ one, but this is how I do it. For instance, if I'm on the motorcycle, I'm at a hotel, and I'm really dressed down, and I'm talking like I have a pair of shorts on, a t-shirt, flip-flops, or topsiders. I'm going out to the bike, maybe washing it. I really don't have a lot of clothing on. And I might be in a place where a gun is illegal. I can't carry a gun. And yet, as you've seen in the videos, we stay in some pretty scary places at times because we're trying to minimize our hotel costs when we stay in a hotel. Yeah, sound familiar? You guys probably do the same thing. So, it's a bad neighborhood. It's nice to have kind of an armed option. That's what I'm saying. That is when I would wear, and have actually in recent days, worn a neck knife. Under the t-shirt, it's invisible to anybody else. I don't really have a stable waistband to shove anything else in. Or for that matter, I may or may not have pockets on me. If I do, and just because it's here, maybe I would do, a Spec Elite 2 auto. If I'm in a state where autos are legal, A neck knife in that situation, philosophy of use, makes sense. I would think about it, and I have been using it. Now, the Obaki by CRKT is not really a neck knife. And the designer, who I don't know, Lucas Burnley, has a video out there showing how he employs this and intends it to be drawn from your belt line. So it's basically going to go in like this. You decide strong side or weak side, and it's actually a pretty smart method he came up with. It's real simple. It's just a paracord tied to the end of an awesome sheath, by the way. Plastic sheath. Draw the knife out. The sheath will come out, be held and retained by your belt. It's deployed. Sheath falls to your side, and you have your knife. Simple, right? It works. You could obviously wear it as a neck knife as well. The retention on this thing is amazing. I mean, really excellent retention on the CRKT Obaki. And this is model number, by the way, 2367. And let's just take a look. We're going to kind of cover these knives too, but I'm going to concentrate on this one first. And I'm going to go out of order, not necessarily to the talking points. I love the handle on this knife. It is cord wrapped, has fake race skin underneath, which looks cool. Second cool thing. But the purchase that cord wrapped handles provide you is excellent. It almost makes me forget the fact that it doesn't have a guard. Now granted, this is following the Japanese Quaken design. So it is what it is. It's being true to the design. On a defensive knife, and that's what we're talking here, philosophy of use. And if we're wearing a neck knife, chances are it's for defending our lives. Super quick. We could add in utility cutting. Yes. That's another reason I haven't ran with them, though. For EDC purposes, I'm talking. Because to withdraw it from the sheath, then I've got to hunt the sheath down. I'm assuming I'm wearing from my neck. And then I've got to carefully put it back in without stabbing my chest. To me, it's just not a great EDC design. I'd much rather withdraw a blade from my pocket. Keep it away away from the vital organs as I'm putting it in and out of the sheath. You get it. But as far as a defensive blade goes, this is the kind of handle that excites me. Granted, no guard. Why is that important? Because on a thrust cut, you could slip and cut your own fingers. And we've been talking about that for the last 8 years here. Let's bring in the Cold Steel series now, okay? And I'm rubber band these things right here, and you can see the different kinds. So this is a Tanto spike, almost a Tokyo. The Tokyo is this one, and I think I have the Tokyo. There it is, right there. So the Tokyo is right here. Tanto spike. The Bowie spike is right here. By the way, these are all phenomenal overall knives. They really are. For the money, the Cold Steel Spike series, the redesign of this series is so much better than it used to be. I loved the original Spike series, but if you look at my vids or my KRV, I think it was like in 2008 or 9 I posted that. I criticized how tiny and slim the handles were, although they were micro cord wrapped. We've lost that with the nylon FRN handles we have here. Gryvery, whatever they call them now, but it's, you know, basically FRN. Handle-wise, though, which one would I prefer? And that's a really critical question because you're talking about a defensive fighting tool. And I would probably lean towards this one because I don't have to do anything to it to add traction. It has excellent traction. Let's look at the lengths of the handles side by side. Showdown between the Cold Steel Spike series and the CRKT Obaki. Handle lengths are about the same. Now on the Cold Steel series, it still has the thinness to it. We do have a finger guard though, unlike the CRKT. That is all to the good. So you have a way, albeit small way, to prevent problems in a thrust cut, a stab cut, right? That's good. And that's what we're concentrating on. Look what I did to this one, and this is what I always do. Yeah, just simple athletic tape, more traction given on the Cold Steel Spikes. This helps a lot. It really does, because now the hand can lock on it instead of slipping on the unmodified, albeit somewhat sculpted and textured FRN on the Cold Steel. And we can't get carried away, by the way, when we talk about neck, or in this case, a belt defensive blade for the guard, because we can't say, well, we want the guard to be a lot bigger. Because they need to be slim and trim. SAWC is paramount, especially as intended. The Cold Steels are designed as neck knives. I mean, here's the sheath right here. I don't have the bead chain on it, but you guys get it. They're designed for that. Let's check this retention on this one too. That is positive retention as well. Would I carry that upside down as a neck knife? Yeah, I would. And have, by the way. In fact, this is the one I ran. This one right here. This exact one. In fact, Tokyo Spike. Now, the beauty of the Cold Steel series is you have a choice of blade shapes, and that's all good. So I really like this one. The Tokyo Spike is cool. Flat ground from this portion. All of the knives are featuring 4116 Krupp. Go look at my rust test on that knife, by the way, with the Cold Steel lights. It's almost like H1 steel. I was really impressed. And for a knife that's not going to see a ton of cutting, 4116 is fine. It's fine. Hey, that steel's not good enough for me. They're making shivs out of plexiglass and toothbrushes in prison and killing guys with it. I think 4116 steel will do just fine, if and when you need to use it. Jeez, guys on a knife in this philosophy of use get all wrapped up about the steel. Dude, the CRKT is 8CR14 MOV, by the way. It's a good steel. Wicked edge. It really does. I think it holds a better edge and can produce a better edge. Both 8CR13, 14 MOV, basically the same steel. Better than this one does. Now, weight-wise, they're pretty similar, and that is to say they're super light. All of the Cold Steel Spikes will come in around 3 ounces. Yeah, that's light. And the Obaki is 3.4 as configured here, with your rope and, of course, obligatory skeleton. can we produce something other than skeletons, please? I mean, we kind of get it. I kind of get tired of the freaking death motif. I mean, I have them on my lanyards just because that's what the industry produces. I was looking for a lanyard. The lanyards, by the way, are in my web store, top of the screen. They're sized and tied specifically to my length requirements because most are too goofy, too long. And yes, I do have a skull bead on mine as well. Because again, that's what the industry has. That's what they forced upon us. But let's do something else. Maybe a unicorn. I'm kidding. I would not have a unicorn bead. Alien bead would be cool. Maybe a mine, like the old-timey mines in World War II in the water. That would be kind of cool. Without the spikes, of course. I think between the two blades, back to the review, the sheaths are a total draw. They're both excellent. Plastic, won't hold water. They retain the blades perfectly. They're adaptable to different carry methods. And you could do the same carry method with your cold steels, right? I mean, just tie a cord on it. Nothing high-tech about that. The sheaths, huge wins. There are some other competitive options out there. Neck knives of all sorts and descriptions. For time, I'm not going to go over any of those. You guys can look it up. Last time I checked, the internet's still working if you're watching me. Quality and value on both of these knives is excellent. Let's take this one out and take a look at it, by the way. I love the Bowie knives. Ooh, I love them. There's your chain for the neck knife on the cold steel. I need to cut this tape. I wish I had a blade. CRKT coming to the rescue. Better do this close so I don't cut myself. Which blade shape would you prefer, Nutton, out of all these? Probably this one. My overall favorite. Cold steel spike, the Bowie blade shape. I love it. It's really cool. Recommended retailer at the top of the screen for these. Go buy them there. They support TMP. Support them, please. Flat area here for consistent angle sharpener. The edge out of box, and I just brought this one out of the box, is excellent. Excellent. Really short and steep primary grind right there, though. Yeah, really nice edge. Let's look at the Obaki. I didn't really talk about how sharp that is. It's insanely sharp, actually. And it's acid etched on the 8CR 14 MOV steel. Hopefully that's focusing for y'all. There you go. Nice blade shape, though. Classic. It has some belly to it if you do want to use it for utility cutting. But this is basically a mini fighter. I kind of prefer this edge more. See how it's more gradual? I like that. It's going to be easier for me to resharpen. I don't have to spend time reprofiling it. And dang, is this thing sharp. Do I have some paper? Yeah, I do. Check it. So, the exciting paper cut. Oh my gosh. It's like a freaking laser. CRKT Obaki. By the way, paper cuts don't prove anything. They're just kind of fun to show initial edge, right? So, losing out to the paper on the paper cut, the cold steel. Now if I angle it and get some movement in the blade, it cuts just fine. But I would give the edge and sharpness to CRKT. Yeah, dudes, totally. If I had to choose, like, and you guys were asking earlier, I'm assuming, which one would I choose? I love the Cold Steel Spike series. The lengths of the blades, by the way, are very similar. Although Cold Steel does have a small advantage in reach. That's a plus. They do have finger guard. Add an S in there. They are not cord wrapped, though, and I like the cord wrapped handle better. Looks wise, I could go either way. I mean, it's like, second cool we're talking. Which knife do you like better for looks? I don't really even think of these knives in that term. You know? They're tools to me. So they're going to be invisible at the ready. I could go with either one. It's a draw there. The steels, if I were pushed, and this is only by a slight margin, I would go with an 8CR steel just because they just are so sharp. They're toothy and they can maintain that edge. However, in a high moisture environment, the cold steels would dominate it. This would rust so quick compared to that. I did not test that, by the way, but I'm just saying it would. Handles, I will give that an advantage. Steels, almost a draw, very slight advantage CRKT. Value levels are almost identical. Actually, I take that back. I think this is more expensive, the Obaki. The cold steel spikes are going to be a lot less, now that I think of it. So if money is tight, I'd go with the cold steel spike. Better yet, we're not talking a ton of money here, so you could get both. You know, buy both and run both, and just sell the one you don't like. You know, I will continue to use neck knives, though, in certain situations. Will I run it like this, as intended by the designer, CRKT design collaborator, I should say, with CRKT, Lucas Burnley? I doubt it. My belt line's kind of taken up already. Also included in the package on the CRKT Obaki is a small back clip, so you can carry it horizontally. So different options. You can go neck knife, inside the waistband carry, horizontal carry. As configured out of box, the cold steels maybe don't have that flexibility. Bottom line is this. If I were to choose and run it in a neck knife configuration, and this is all politics pushed aside, I don't care about that stuff, I don't bother with it. The knives themselves, which one would I carry right now? Probably the Obaki. Mainly because I love the handle so much. And the blade profile. I mean, these are excellent blades, but it's only by a very slight margin. The Cold Steel Spike series, versatile, super high value, less expensive. But the showdown goes by a small margin to CRKT. See ya!